So Nate Diaz, there's been a lot of talk about who's he going to fight, when is he going to fight next. He's been asking for a fight from the UFC for a while now. And then all of a sudden, apparently, Nate Diaz is going to be fighting Khamzat Chimaev, UFC 279 on September 10th. Now, I'm just going to come out and say it. This fight to me doesn't make a lot of sense. It really doesn't, right? Like maybe for Nate Diaz, it makes sense. And maybe one of you guys can explain to me what I'm not seeing. Maybe you can explain to me why this makes perfect sense. Because when I look at it, it just doesn't make any sense for either of them. It doesn't make sense for Nate Diaz. It doesn't make sense for Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, Nate Diaz, according to Nate, he's been saying that the UFC has been offering him Conor McGregor, right? Like Conor McGregor is a guy that he's fought before. He's fought him twice. He beat him once. The second fight, you could even say that fight was controversial. It is a very winnable fight for Nate, a reasonable fight for Nate. It's a fight that, of course, is going to make him more money. Just overall, it makes way more sense. But Nate has come out to say that he is not fighting Conor. He's refusing to fight Conor. And then he's been asking for Khamzat Chimaev. Let's go right ahead and look at the story right here. This was written by Brett Okamoto. It says, Khamzat Chimaev, Nate Diaz, welterweight bout being finalized for UFC 279 on September 10th. The UFC is finalizing a welterweight fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Nate Diaz to headline UFC 279 on September 10th. Contracts have not been signed, but both fighters have verbally agreed to the matchup and date according to Campbell. UFC 279 will take place at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Now right here it says, this is a fight Nate has been asking for since the middle of April. And I'm trying to figure out why. Is it that Nate Diaz wants the challenge? Does Nate Diaz think it's a very winnable fight for him? Like, I'm trying to figure out. It's like, okay, what's the angle? Like, what's the thought process? You're going to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Now, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but I'm just going to say what everybody is saying. I'm going to say what I'll say this way, what most UFC fans are thinking. This is not a good matchup for Nate Diaz. It's not a good matchup. When you take a look at every single issue that Nate has had in the past, Nate has had issues with very powerful fighters. He's had issue with stronger fighters who are able to lock their hands around Nate and throw him around. You guys remember Rory McDonald? What Rory McDonald did to Nate Diaz? Now, you could say this is Nate Diaz of old. Nate Diaz has improved greatly since then. Okay, I can give you that. But then remember what Rafael dos Anjos did to Nate Diaz? You remember that? Remember the beating Nate Diaz took at the hands of Jorge Masvidal? Like, every single time Nate is in there with a powerful fighter who's also physical, someone that can throw him around, we see just that. We see the guy get tossed around. We see him get bullied around. Now he's going to be in the octagon with probably one of the most aggressive, strong, dominant grapplers that we've seen in MMA in recent times, in Khamzat Chimaev, who's currently 11-0 in MMA, who, by the way, just defeated Gilbert Burns. It just doesn't make sense, man. Like, does anyone think that Nate's going to be able to win this fight? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I get it. You could say, well, we've never seen Khamzat Chimaev taken into deep, deep waters, by someone like Nate Diaz. Someone like Nate Diaz who doesn't actually start getting aggressive and getting good until rounds number 4 and not round number 5. First of all, there's no real evidence for that. Nate, I don't think, has actually won a fight in rounds number 4 and round number 5. So that whole narrative has been debunked multiple times. 2, we have seen Khamzat Chimaev in those later rounds against a ridiculously high-level welterweight fighter, someone who's number 2 or number 3 in the welterweight rankings in Gilbert Burns. So it's just, I look at it and I don't see where Nate could possibly have an advantage. You could say, well, Nate Diaz has ridiculously good jiu-jitsu. There's a possibility that, he's going to catch Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, Nate also had better jiu-jitsu than Rory McDonald, and he still got tossed around. You know what I mean? It's like, I look at the fight and I struggle to see how it makes any sense whatsoever, right? You go back to this article. Diaz, who's 20 and 13, 20 and 13, has been vocal in 2022 about wishing to fight out his current UFC contract, which has one fight remaining. So this is his last fight on the contract. According to sources, Diaz's camp and UFC were involved in discussions around a new contract. However, the 37-year-old recently made it very clear he wished to fight out the deal, so he doesn't want to renew the contract. One of the most popular fighters on the roster, Diaz hasn't fought since a decision loss to current UFC welterweight title challenger Leon Edwards in June 2021. So, Nate Diaz does not want to renew the contract. It seems like there's a little bit of tension between Nate and the UFC. There's been a lot of talk. He wants to fight out of the contract. UFC wants him to fight Conor McGregor. Nate doesn't want to fight Conor. And so it's, in a lot of ways, as I'm thinking about this fight, it almost looks like a huge fuck you by Dana White and the UFC. Like, hey, we're offering you fights, Nate. We've been offering you fights. You're saying no to fights. You don't want to fight anybody. You don't want to renew the contract. Okay, we're gonna give you a nice send off. We're gonna give you a real nice last fight on the contract. We're gonna give you something that you're going to remember for a very long time. How about Khamzat Chimaev? There you go. Ask and you shall receive. Matthew 7:7. There you go. It's like, damn, man, he's gonna fight Khamzat Chimaev. Truly, is anyone really excited about that fight? Besides watching to see if Nate will be able to survive. Like, that's the only reason I'm gonna watch, to be honest with you guys. Like, I want to see if this whole, Nate Diaz is hard to finish. I want to see if that holds up against Khamzat Chimaev, because I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I understand that in mixed martial arts, anything can happen. We all know that, everyone has a puncher's chance. Everyone has that one Hail Mary that they can throw. But as I think about this fight, I think it's going to be an absolute ass whooping. I think it's going to be a ridiculously one-sided, dominant beating by Khamzat Chimaev. A sort of beating that I can actually see results in a finish. Now, this is where I think a lot of people are going to disagree. A lot of people don't believe that Nate Diaz can be finished in a fight. But if there's anyone with the ability to stop Nate Diaz cold, it is someone like Khamzat Chimaev. I see that happening. And I'm going to be watching to see if, like, what's Nate going to do? Like, how is he going to be able to stop this guy from pretty much doing whatever the hell he wants with him? I just see him just dragging Nate to the ground, securing top position, keeping himself away from all the classic submissions in MMA, the arm bars, the triangles, the leg locks, securing dominant position, pinning him to the mat, and just grounding and pounding him into oblivion. I see that happening. And I'd like to see how he can stop it. Is he going to land one of his classic right hook into a cross and, oh, shit, Khamzat Chimaev is rocked. Khamzat Chimaev is on death's door. Oh, my God. Like, what? How is that going to play out? It's like, what a fight, man. What a crazy matchup. Unexpected matchup. And then, of course, Khamzat Chimaev, who is currently 5-0 since signing with the UFC in 2020. He says, I am going to handle Nate Diaz's funeral with the UFC. Pretty harsh. But that's a good way to put it. He's going to handle Nate Diaz's funeral with the UFC. Like, it's not a very reasonable fight, man. At the end of the day, the one thing that I can say is, hey, kudos to Nate, man. Whether this is a unsmart decision or not, you can't disagree. Well, not disagree. You can't ignore, right? You can't ignore the bravery in it. Like in a time when most people are looking to not fight Khamzat Chimaev, Nate Diaz is doing the complete opposite. He's asking for Khamzat. And he's like, dude, I want to fight Khamzat right now. I want to fight him. Meanwhile, Khamzat himself, ranked number 3. This is kind of a risky fight, right? Like, if something were to happen and he gets finished or he gets stopped in this fight, that's his number 3 spot that he's risking right now. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe you guys can give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think about it. What am I not seeing? What am I missing? What am I not paying attention to? Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments section. And that's it. I will leave it at that. Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev, UFC 279, September 10th. Can't wait. Can't wait to see what happens. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.